The first day I used Spotify in 2003, it felt like pure magic. The music, the interface, the seamless experience of having millions of songs available in one app. It was better not having to fill my phone with MP3 files. I listened to music everywhere I went. School, home, the bus, even while doing basic daily tasks. In the beginning it felt amazing, but slowly without nothing, I started building habits that almost sabotages my personal development. And that was the beginning of the trap. In fact, music has always been more than just background noise to me. Since my earliest years, it's been present during the most significant moments, guiding my thoughts, expressing my actions, and creating a nearly magic atmosphere around everything I did. I remember the first times I put on headphones and I got lost in melodies that seemed to speak directly to my soul. Every beat, every note, every chord had the power to shift my energy, boost my creativity and transport me to a mental state where everything felt possible. Over time, music became more than a fleeting pleasure. It turned into a vital tool for both my productivity and emotional well-being. When I needed to concentrate, I found in harmonies I shield against external distractions. When I sought inspiration for new projects, the right melodies seemed to open doors in my mind, revealing ideas that once felt out of reach. In tough times, when life felt too heavy, music was what impressed me, whispering in my ears that I was strong enough to keep going. But without realizing it, something began to change. What was once a source of inspiration and strength became a constant necessity, a refuge I couldn't let it go of. Slowly, I noticed I could no longer stand in silence. The sound of my own breathing, the stable noise of the world around me, all of it became uncomfortable. Every silent moment felt empty, as if something essential was missing. Music, which was helping to stay focused, started to become a requirement for any activity. Working, studying, walking, even relaxing, it all needed a soundtrack. If for some reason my headphones weren't nearby, I felt restless, anxious, like something inside me was out of place. My brain no longer knew how to function without that constant musical background. That's when I had a startling realization. I wasn't just using music as a tool, I was dependent on it. Silence, which should be natural and comfortable, had turned into an invisible enemy. I had lost the ability to simply exist in the present moment, to listen to my own thoughts, without melody filling the void, accepting that was art. The idea that something as beautiful and powerful as music could somehow turn into an emotional crash hit me hard. But at the same time, I realized that maybe this was an opportunity. Maybe it was time to rediscover silence, to learn how to live with it, and to let my thoughts flow without the need for a background soundtrack. The journey to finding balance between music and silence wasn't easy. In the beginning, every attempt to distance myself from my headphones felt unbearable. The discomfort was real. I felt agitated, but little by little, something surprising happened. Silence wasn't a scary void. It was a space where I could truly hear myself. That's when I began to notice three side effects of using Spotify. The first was lack of a real focus. For a long time, I believed that listening to music while studying was an efficient way to boost my focus and productivity. I thought that background music could motivate me and make learning more enjoyable. Over time, I realized that my brain was constantly split between the task I was supposed to be doing and the music playing in my ears. If the music was purely instrumental, the negative effects were minimal, since there were no lyrics competing for my attention. But whenever I picked songs with vocals or intense beats, my focus would fragment without me even noticing. Sometimes I caught myself mentally singing along instead of actually absorbing the content I was studying. Other times, a change in a rhythm or an engaging lyric would pull my attention away, making my study season far less effective than I imagined it. And the second was social disconnection. From every young age, I developed the habit of always wearing headphones as if they were an extension of my body. On the bus, I'd dive into music, podcasts, or videos, avoiding casual interaction with other passengers. At home, even surrounded by family, I'd prefer to isolate myself in my own sonic world, ignore conversation, and shared moments. Even in social settings, when I was surrounded by friends or colleagues, My headphones became an invisible wall, a shield that kept me from truly connecting with the people around me. Over time, I realized that this connection had cost me countless opportunities to build deeper relationships, share stories, learn from others, and even be here. This relation felt comfortable at first, but eventually I saw that I was drifting away not only from others, but from experiences that could have enriched my life. And the third effect of using Spotify was personal growth at risk. The time that I could have spent meditating, reading, or even in productive boredom, that reflective state that often leads to valuable insights, was gradually replaced by endless playlists. Instead of moments of introspection and intellectual growth, I found myself immersed in an infinite stream of content that, while sometimes enjoyable or even educational, kept me from truly connecting with myself. This specific conception didn't just rob me of the ability to dive deep into my own thoughts, it also shortened my passions for activities that require more mental effort, like reading a dance book or practicing reflective writing. Silence, once my hall in organizing my thoughts and clarifying my goals, became rare, drained out by the constant stimulation of music, podcasts, and videos that filled every 3 minutes. The risk, losing the ability to be fully present, to nurture self-awareness, and to let my mind breathe, something essential for true personal growth. Looking back, I realized that something was off when I tried to go on all day without listening to music, and felt incredibly uncomfortable. It was addictive. It was as if my mind no longer knew how to operate without background noise. That's when I decided to take back control. I started with small challenges like I forced myself to sit in silence for at least 23 minutes a day. At first it was unbearable, but eventually I noticed how much clearer my mind became. Over time I began using music only at strategic moments like during workouts or to boost my creativity instead of relying on it constantly. I chose playlists that truly had value, like instrumental music for focus or specific tracks for inspiration. And one day, while walking down the street, I decided to take off my headphones, and instantly the world around me seemed to take on a new dimension. The sounds that were once muffled by music now reached me clearly. The hum of passing cars, the wind rustling through the trees, the voices of people chatting nearby. I started noticing details I had previously ignored. The smell of a stranger, the sipping of a beer, the rhythm of footsteps on the sidewalk. Without to be real headphones, unexpected conversation began to happen. I remember an elderly man made a comment about the weather, and before I knew it, we were chatting about the old days and how the city had changed. Even people's glances seemed more meaningful, as if a simple gesture could start a conversation. I realized how much my perception of the environment had improved. What once was just a routine walk now felt like a richer, more interactive experience. The world was full of stories unfolding around me, and for a moment, I felt like I was truly part of something bigger. So today, thank God, Spotify no longer controls me. I use it in a balanced way without being a slave to it. My playlists are chosen with intention, not just to fill a void. I allow myself to enjoy silence, to hear my own thoughts, and to create without depending on constant musical stimulation. This experience gave me a valuable and transformative lesson, and a tool, no matter how powerful or revolutionary, can bring extraordinary benefits when used wisely. However, if used excessively or without awareness, it can easily become a trap, limiting our growth instead of boosting it. True mastery isn't just about knowing how to use a tool, but knowing when and how to use it in a balanced way. Finding the balance is the key to personal growth, allowing us to evolve sustainably and continuously without falling into the traps of excess or dependency.